During his victory speech on Monday, he said to the small audience that a man from country can now step into the city and govern. He mentioned that regardless of your circumstance in life, one can aspire and put in the work and achieve greatness. Of course, the words there of Farley Agustine. He is now the man to take the wheel at the THA. Resounding victory for the PDP on Monday evening, and he joins us now on the line, live out of Tobago, the deputy political leader of the PDP, Farley Agustine. Farley, good morning and congratulations.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Farley, what was the first thing? Because we're going to get into the policy and into all the different dynamics in a few, but I just want to find out, when it was all said and done and the dust settled on Monday, what time you got home, what you did as you got home into your quiet space, away from all the noise?
I got home on Monday evening, sometime around 7 p.m. Just after 7 p.m., I locked myself away. I prayed. I said, thank you, God, for the day. Thank you for whatever the result's going to be. Went, I took a shower, and I'm doing all of this slowly because, of course, by that time on Monday evening, I am pretty exhausted, very fatigued. And because we have started our campaign since the 15th of September. In fact, the same day that the Parliament was meeting to approve the EBC report, we launched our campaign on that same day, which was something crazy when you think about it. We did not even wait for the EBC report to be fully passed. We just got going immediately. And as I completed all of that and I see the results start rolling in, folks start calling me, texting me the results from my district, which fell in line with my expectations. Because as I walked around that day, I recognized that we had quite a significant turnout in my district, that is. But as the night grew, I'm waiting, and I'm saying, is it 10, is it 12, is it 15, trying to ascertain how many seats. But, one can't help but just have, immense gratitude. Because when you think about it, we are a 5-year-old party, as I said. And it's not very often that Trinidad and Tobago trusts young parties or parties led by young people. I am on my team, the youngest person on my team. And I am able to lead my team to this kind of victory. That has to be a privilege. And as I said on Monday night, if I could dream and achieve it, it's possible for anybody. It's not even limited to PDP young people. Even the countless young people in the PNM who were critical of me during the campaign, even you too can dream. And so I feel as though there is a huge weight on my shoulder because there's an absolute need, not only for me to deliver to the people of Tobago, but for me to prove that young people can ascend into leadership offices and do a very good job of it. Very often, adults, are critical of young people and question whether or not young people can command high leadership offices and do it well. And so I have to prove that, yes, we can. Because if Farley can do it, then, yes, even a Franca, like who I run against, can also do it.
Well, Farley,
and I have to do that for all of my young people.
Well, indeed, and I guess, you're going to carry the weight of that on your shoulder because obviously now you, yourself, your goodly self, and the PDP will be under microscope, and the reality is the incumbent, they are no more, at least there in Tobago. They have been annihilated, softened, as we say in local terms. 14-1, overwhelming result there. So the incumbents are out. PNM, clearly, there's no relevance with them in Tobago. The question now is, what's next? What's next? Because, people always campaign on that. We don't want the bullying, we don't want this and whatever. Now, seeing that the result is in your favor, the question is what's next. Of course, I'm seeing some of the conversation already leaning towards the reopening of the beach. I recognize you would have explained that on The Guardian today. But just generally, what's next? What's the immediate move right now, Farley?
Well, the Tobago economy is in shambles, to be honest. It is in shambles. And even with rising COVID-19 numbers, we are in dire straits on the island. So many of our people, Jason, are without meaningful employment. We cannot open our main sector outside of the government sector, which is the tourism sector, without the beaches. That's just the honest truth, the God honest truth. I don't see how our hotels can bounce back and our Airbnbs and villas can really earn significantly if there isn't access to the beach. I share a different opinion from the Prime Minister about whether or not having access to the beach can cause a significant increase in the numbers. Because I'm one of those people, I believe that when you look at the beach, you see it for therapeutic reasons. When people go to the beach, except if there's a beach fete, people don't go to the beach and normally just jam up on each other, except you jam up with the people you went to the beach with, in the cluster you went with. Because think about it, Jason, when you're in the beach, you're in your beach shorts, your bareback, you're not really into strangers being all up in your face and in your personal space. You might be there with your girl and you're in a girl in a corner, yes, you might be there with your family members or your friends, and you have your cooler and you're in your cluster. That's how people operate when they attend the beach. And I think we have to consider having the beach open and at the same time refusing to allow beach parties and refusing to allow certain kinds of interaction on the beach. But it's something we just have to consider because it's a catch-22 situation for us. On one hand, yes, we have the rising COVID numbers, but on the other hand, our economy just cannot get going. I don't see how we can reopen our economy in Tobago without the beach access, without the airport opening. We still have limited flights coming from Trinidad. We still do not have a single international flight coming through to the Tobago airport. And so it's something for us to consider.
What are some of the other measures, obviously, put forward in your manifesto, put forward under the campaign structure to regenerate and to revitalize Tobago, get it going, and probably find different ways to get income streams outside of the tourism sector? Just give me some of the plans that you must implement based on the campaign.
Sure, and we campaigned heavily on fixing our agro-processing sector. We spoke about ensuring that we have food labs available, that we have proper veterinary services for our small ruminant farmers. We campaign on having the value add to our agriculture products. We also spoke about brand Tobago and how we are going to explore that, and the fact that we believe that there's significant value in the brand that is Tobago. And let me give you a quick example. If I am to go and take the ferry to Port of Spain, and I have to cross Rice Road and go up to Frederick Street corner there and stand up and say, hey, Tobago Chenet, with a nice sign that says Tobago Chenet. In 2 tours, my Chenet will sell out because the country knows that when agricultural produce and agro-processed stuff from Tobago comes on the shelf, that it's of very high quality. There's an expectation that once it comes from Tobago, it's of a better quality. That's farm products, that is, than even from what we get from in Trinidad. But we have never capitalized on that. We have never made our business men and women in Tobago to understand that our market goes beyond the 50,000 or so that reside on the island of Tobago, but that there is over 1 million people next door in Trinidad that we should tap into. And we are looking into ways we can tap into that and we can promote brand Tobago. I have goats in my backyard. I'm not as big a goat farmer as the Prime Minister is, but I do have some goats. And when we sell live goats, we sell it at about $16 per pound. But by the time it gets to Trinidad, someone just slashes the goat's throat, put a sticker saying that it's halal, and automatically it moves from $16 a pound to $52 a pound. We are missing out on all that value added. And that's because there is value in the brand that is Tobago. And so we are going to be looking into how we can move our agro-processed goods, how we can move our farm produce from just little Tobago and move it onto big shelves and big supermarket chains in Trinidad, how we can ensure that when you walk in your price mat, your neighboring price mat, we can perhaps see goods that are made in Tobago and that are there in abundance, accessible to the Trinidad public. We also have been talking a lot about how do we tap into our diaspora community, our diaspora market. There are more Tobagonians living in Trinidad than living in Tobago. There are more Tobagonians living abroad than living in Tobago. And we have not tapped into that market. And the truth be told, even when a Tobagonian leaves Tobago, they still consider themselves Tobagonian. Last week, Friday, I took an opportunity. I said, Farley, this might be your last chance to walk Port of Spain as an ordinary citizen. And I said, I need to get some cloth inside Jimmy Abu. So I'm casually walking up Frederick Street, mask on, cap on my head, dressed very casual as I'm dressed now, looking at like any ordinary citizen. And it's amazing the amount of people. It took me more than 20 minutes to get from the bottom of Frederick Street up to the corner of, up to Queen Street. And then when I got into Jimmy Abood, it also took me quite a while before I could get what I went for. Why? Because there were just so many people who were saying, I'm Tobagonian, you're not coming up to vote, or I used to live in Tobago, my surname is McFarlane, I grew up here, this is my brother, you know this person? And it tells me that many Tobagonians, even after leaving home and residing abroad, they want to participate in the Tobago economy. And we have to allow them to. That is an untapped potential that we can draw on.
Yeah, of course, Tobago, there is a togetherness. I want to find out from you, and I want to get to the COVID scenario and who you might probably tip to. Well, if you could probably get an insight as to who might be health secretary. But before that, you mentioned Tobago and that camaraderie and tapping into the diaspora, which I think is a fantastic move. But when it comes to the political leader of the PNM, the Prime Minister, who's also from Tobago, I know there would have been, in the political guile, some serious blows. And I wonder, he would have given the assurance yesterday that there will be cooperation from central government towards some of the plans. Well, he didn't come out and say directly, but I suspect that is what he's suggesting, that there wouldn't be any kind of tooting of feelings of vindictiveness on the part of the central government. But what will be the interaction be? What will be your approach, and more so Mr. Duke's approach to interacting with the said Prime Minister and trying to work together for the benefit of Tobago?
Well, I have said on Monday night that two things. One, Tobago resoundingly rejected the Prime Minister's iterations and philosophies, political philosophies, as it comes to Tobago. And I have also said on the second hand that the Prime Minister, both the Prime Minister and myself, have to mature to that place where we can be cordial with each other.
Are you all cordial at this point in time? When last you saw him, and what's the interaction like when you see the PM face to face?
We have not spoken in quite a while. We have not seen face to face in quite a while. The last time I spotted him, we were crossing paths in my district. I was driving, going in one direction, and he was heading in the other. But what people don't realize is that we attended the same high school. We were part of the same house in school. We're part of the same fraternity in terms of that Bishopian fraternity. And I'm hoping that that kind of commonality will allow for some cordiality. I am not going to approach the future relationship with the Prime Minister from a perspective of enmity. I'm going to approach it with open mind, open heart, open hands, and hoping for the best. I have not spoken to him as yet. I don't have his contact number. I can't tell if he tried to reach me because, to be honest, between yesterday and today, I have just simply been overwhelmed by the number of calls and messages. I really can't keep on top of it. And it will take me days to sift through all the messages and be able to clear everything up. And it's quite possible he called and I missed the call. But I suspect that after the swearing in on Thursday, we will have some conversation. He will somehow pay a courtesy call on my office whenever he comes to Tobago, and I will welcome him, because I am insistent that we have to change political culture. If nothing else happens by the time I leave office, the political culture has to change. Yes, we must fight elections tooth and nail, and the truth is, Westminster politics breeds the kinds of aggressions you see in political campaigning, because we are a small society, 15 seats, small numbers, and we're going at it hoping to come out on top. But when we do come out on top, when the dust settles at the end of an election, we have to find a way to get back to that place of peace and calm and to engage each other and recognize that whether you were PNM or PDP, going into the election, we all come out of the election as Tobagonians. So I'm actually looking forward to communicating with the Prime Minister, seeing where his mind is at, explaining to him in person what my philosophies are and how best we can help each other. Because at this point, it's about Tobago over my political egos. It's about Tobago over the Prime Minister's political egos. It has to be about Tobago first.
Let me find out from you, Farley, before we wrap things up. We have about a minute again. Anybody tipped for the Health Secretary? Of course, COVID being still a very relevant issue then Tobago.
Well, I can't tell you who any of the other secretaries will be, because I will wish to wait until that happens on Friday. But I can assure you that Dr. Faith B. Israel will no doubt be leading our health sector. She has been at the forefront in the fight against COVID, notwithstanding us being in the minority council previously. And Tobagonians trust her voice, trust her knowledge, and I can easily indicate to the public that Dr. Faith B. Israel will, once God's willing, on Friday, become our next Secretary of Health.
Very good selection. Listen, Farley, to you and your team, a sincere congratulations. Go forward now. Obviously, the lens, the country, and Tobago, the expectations will be there. And I trust that you would stick to your mandate and go forward and do your very best.
One more thing, let me just quickly apologize to the public for looking this rough. After coming out of a campaign with very little sleep, getting up on mornings has been a challenge for me. So if you'll notice that I still have sleep in my eyes and looking very rough, and not the usual sharp and neat.
Farley, but you had to call Jack Warner, and remember Jack Warner said, get up 4 o'clock, and pumping whole day. Jack Warner separate on 20 minutes sleep,
Well, I know during the last couple of months, it has been very early mornings, very late nights.
I know. Trust me.
And so, but he is saying, Farley, you need to get some rest now, and I need to nurse the horse throat back and all of that. So just apologies for not looking as clean as I usually do. But don't worry, by Thursday you will see me back to my usual sharp, spick and span dandy self.
Yes, man.
But thank you.
Farley, all the best again, and we will talk soon.
Yes.
That's Farley there, creating some history for himself and creating a legacy. Let's see how things pan out in Tobago. We come back with more discussion concerning the results and the whole shenanigans that we witnessed in the last couple of days. Stick around. It's your Morning Brew.